Tiffany up more than 2% after reporting better than expected sales. Tumi earlier this week reporting weak earnings, sending shares down 10%. Shares are down another percent today. So which retailers are better suited for your portfolio? Stacy Widlitz is the president of SW Advisors. Stacy, good to see you again. Let's start off with Nike, because we are seeing this knock-on effect in the likes of a Foot Locker, in a Finish Line, and Under Armour. And I'm wondering if you think all of those extrapolations sending those stocks higher are fair and warranted.
Well, I think we had Dick's come out last week and give a disappointing number. So then Nike comes out and tells us gross margins are up for the first time in 9 quarters here. They're telling us that they're able to pass on pricing, which is a big deal. That implies maybe they can get back to their peak gross margin. So there's still some room here. But again, the big deal is that China is turning around after all that inventory that they're trying to work through. Future orders are actually up. So that's a big deal here.
And why are they able to raise those prices and raise the margins and the market still hold in there? Is that because of a demand dynamic throughout America that basically consumers are more optimistic or they're spending more, or is it because of Nike's innovation?
Well, it's a couple things. First of all, there were lower input costs this quarter. Second, they were able to pass on about a 3% price increase. So that tells you that the innovation in the product is really working and the consumer is willing to pay up for it, versus some other brands, where that just might not be the case. So definitely how they're innovating is working, and they'll be able to pass on those prices.
Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about Tiffany, Stacy, because the stock is reacting quite positively to this quarter, which did seem like a very mixed bag. EPS was better, revenues came in light. First quarter guidance was not good. Do you like Tiffany here? Are you getting more positive about the story?
Well, you know what? The stock today is rallying basically because 2 months ago they gave us initial guidance for 2013 saying up 6 to 9%. And then today they came out and said, fine, that's intact. However, they walloped Q1 and said it'll be down 15 to 20%. So I'm having a deja vu of last year when they told us that all of the earnings would be back half weighted. Tiffany has lowered their guidance the past 4 quarters in a row. So the fact that they basically said the year's intact but then whacked Q1, sort of leaves you skeptical here and asking, is this going to be a repeat of last year? And certainly the 2-year trends on the sales line decelerated significantly.
Stacey, you join us from London, where the luxury bag maker Mulberry is having a terrible session as a result of what it's saying about luxury spending on its goods, mainly in the UK. But I mean, as you look across the sector and with what Tiffany is saying now about China, with what Nike arguably is saying about China, where are you left on luxury?
Well, what was most interesting about Mulberry today was that they said tourism in London is slowing down in terms of the spending. You were hearing exactly the opposite from all the other luxury brands. In fact, people who live in China are traveling to London, to Paris, because it's cheaper, and they're purchasing here. So even a lot of the brands that are seeing weakness on mainland China are seeing the strength here, and that's why. So Mulberry basically was telling us the exact opposite of what we're hearing. But that's really been the trend for quite some time now. The Chinese are traveling and they're spending overseas and they're cutting back on mainland. And also the government is saying, that these extravagant corporation gift-giving days are over. So that's denting in China sort of the higher priced products. And that's also potentially an issue for Tiffany.
Yeah, and it's not just the corporations. They're cracking down on government spending and government gift-giving, so that's really having an impact on luxury sales as well. Stacy, great to see you. Stacy Widlitz of SW Retail Advisors.
Thanks.